The big, beautiful ball is in the Senate's court now, but passing this bill is no layup. Fiscal hawks in the Republican Party raising serious debt concerns.
Our next guest just dropped his own deficit report, saying the tax cut bill will still run trillion-dollar deficits. Now, while some dynamic scoring says the tax cuts will more than pay for themselves, Senator Johnson's not so sure.
Senate Finance Committee member, Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson joins us now. Senator, pleasure, sir. I will just start with this. Given the possibility of a U.S. bombing of Iran's nuclear facilities, another involvement in a Middle East conflict, you would think the Republicans could square their priorities with spending and borrowing. But so far this year, we have averaged paying $97 billion per month interest on the national debt. We're on track to spend $1.2 trillion in interest on the national debt this fiscal year. So far, cumulatively, $776 billion in interest on the national debt in 8 months. In 2019, we only paid 12 months, $573 billion. And what do you see in the big, beautiful bill that is problematic for you?
Well, again, there are a lot of good things in the big, beautiful bill. I'll give the House a fair amount of credit as far as it goes. But the reason I issued my report is I come from a manufacturing background. The first step in solving any problem is, A, admitting you have one. I think most people acknowledge we have a problem here. But the second crucial step is properly defining it. And one of my disappointments in the House process is, other than 1.5 trillion, which sounds like a big number, but when you spread it over 10 years, it's really a pittance compared to the fact that we increased spending by more than 2 trillion in a single year during COVID. And then we never looked back. We kept spending at that level and beyond that. So we have to recognize what the reality is. Part of the big problem here is we're having to clean up all of the enormous messes that Biden and the Democrats left for us. Just a couple quick numbers. Before the pandemic, our average deficit for 7 years was $660 billion. Had the pandemic, what you should have done is come down after the economy recovered, unemployment recovered, to a reasonable pre-pandemic deficit and spending level. That's not what Biden and the Democrats did. They averaged $1.9 trillion in deficit spending over the next 4 years. That now appears to be the new normal. The CBO estimate prior to the One Big Beautiful Bill's $2.1 trillion average deficits over the next 10 years. And the score on the One Big Beautiful Bill would put that at $2.4 trillion per year. So again, I don't know where my colleagues are getting this, where we're going to actually reduce the deficit. The numbers just don't show that. So all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to force everybody to recognize the reality, understand those who want to balance the budget, and I want to, what a challenge that's going to be. And we better start now. This is our maybe once in a lifetime opportunity to reset spending, which increase at an unprecedented level. The speaker's right. This is unprecedented spending reduction, but we're an order of magnitude worse in terms of the increase, having increased $2 trillion just 1 year.
Now, the only thing that the Biden administration did right, and their hands were tied because it was a bill signed by a president, was they had the 2017 tax cuts still in place while they were in power. It could have been a lot worse because during that period of the Biden administration, we increased revenues, tax revenues, so much by trillions of dollars. And of course, if the tax bill, which is a part of the reconciliation bill of spending, if that doesn't pass before the end of the year, we're going to lose that, and we could have a deficit no matter how much you try to cut because of the fact that and we're going to have these huge tax increases, which would lead to the end of Republican control of both the House and the Senate. Do you not agree?
Yeah, again, I want a multi-step process here. We didn't do that, so now we're dealing with one big bill.
So what comes first? Excuse me for interrupting. What comes first, Senator?
Well, no, we have to prevent a massive automatic tax increase. No doubt about it. I support that. I'd do that as a standalone bill if I had my option. We're not going to default on our debt. We'll never default on our debt. That's a scare tactic. I know the president hates the debt ceiling. It's the only leverage we have to try and rein in spending. So again, what my report shows is, yes, we need economic growth. No doubt about it. I'm not sure how much economic growth you're going to spur by just maintaining the status quo. We're going to reinstitute the business, expensing. That'll be somewhat stimulative, no doubt about it. But just maintaining current tax rates, we have, by the way, recovered. Before the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, we were collecting about 17.1% of GDP in terms of revenue. We're back to 17.1, which, quite honestly, no matter how much you try and punish success, that's all we can really extract from the American economy. So we ought to recognize that reality. And instead of spending 23 to 24% of GDP and having a 6% structural deficit, we need to start bringing spending down, and we need to do it a lot quicker than what the House bill does. And that's really my only beef with the House bill.
Well,
it's just not doing enough. And we don't have a game plan for really doing that.
Senator Ron Johnson, thank you so much. But some of your colleagues breathed life back into those green scam subsidies that the House killed quicker. So shame on them.
I can't understand that one.